Hi, I'm Chris Micah with this week's 4 for 4 Sports News. And in anticipation of the upcoming Thanksgiving Day holiday and appreciation for all of our viewers out there, we're going to have a special treat today. We're going to spare no expense and use our entire budget to bring back an authentic representation of the first ever Thanksgiving Day holiday. It'll be a special presentation coming your way in just a moment. But first, this week's top sports stories. Matt Millen was on SportsTalk this past week talking about a variety of sports topics, including giving his take on what Penn State running back Saquon Barkley should do at the end of this football season.
I mean, the smart move for Saquon at this point is to get to is to enter the NFL. That doesn't mean he would do it. You know, Saquon's one of those kids who's kind of principled. He loves his teammates. He loves his team. You know, he likes to win. He'd want to bring home a championship if they can't accomplish that this year. And so he may surprise everybody. If I were advising him, I would say in that position where injuries can happen too soon, where careers are cut short too fast, you've got to take advantage of it when you can.
For more college football conversations with Matt Millen, check out SportsTalk through RCN On Demand or hear the podcast on the RCN-TV website. Point 2. RCN-TV was out and about covering some of the top high school football games during the opening weekend of the playoff season.
Last week was disappointing, losing on our senior night on our home field. So this week at practice, we really wanted to go back to running really old school Easton play, just shoving it up their throats. And I think we did that really well this week. And then we had Jake Harris and Scott, breaking school records, so that was great.
It helped that we had a full game of film on them against us, so we were able to take what they did last week and make a lot of adjustments.
Our defense played well. We had to come and do a job and just shut everyone down. Defensive line, we played well. Linebackers, secondary, we did our job. That's what we're supposed to do.
This game was our best performance this year. Everyone was doing their job. The line were making huge holes. Zach and I were doing our job. Christian was blocking phenomenally, and he was getting a lot of picks on defense, and everything was just going in our favor today.
Our defense is kind of the underdog. Like, no one expects us to be good because 33-6 against Palisades. But, I mean, we played hard tonight. This was the best time I've played. I've seen each and every one of us play.
We'll have more high school football playoff insights and previews of this weekend's games coming up on this Thursday's Sports Talk show. Point 3.
Time for this week's RCN Sports Talk Coaches and Media's High School Football Poll, listing the top 5 teams in the RCN viewing area among the bigger schools, including Class 5A and 6A in the RCN Lehigh Valley viewing area. And here's a look at the top 4 teams in our smaller schools classification poll, featuring schools Class A through 4A. For more information on our polls and our voters, go to the Sports Talk shop at rcn.com/RCN-TV. And now, our Pick 4 matchups of the week, with media members selecting their picks to win in 4 key contests for this weekend.
And now, as a special thanks to you, we'd like to present our presentation of an authentic representation of the first ever Thanksgiving. We really appreciate your loyal viewership, and as a result, we've spent our entire fall and winter budgets into this presentation. I'm turning everything over to our crew members, and I know they'll do a bang-up job with this, so sit back and enjoy the special presentation of an authentic representation of the first ever Thanksgiving. Let's see what they came up with.
Okay, there we have pumpkins. That's good for the first Thanksgiving. Oh, and corn. That's, of course, the Pilgrims had that. And the Indians, pumpkin pie. Couldn't be a Thanksgiving without pumpkin pie. Oh, and there's Indians giving out a desperate war chant, I bet. Yep, that sounds pretty desperate to me. And there's the turkey. Wait, that's not a real turkey. That's French wine. That's expensive. Wait a minute, what are these guys doing here? Oh, no!
Yay! Pizza! Yay!
Keep the change. No, don't keep the change.
I'd rather have corn.
Wait a minute. I don't think the Indians ever ordered out for pizza. What are these guys doing? Where are those expensive pilgrim uniforms I paid for? Oh, man, what are these guys done? Oh, this time these guys have gone too far. Oh, the boss isn't going to like this at all. Oh, boy. And how am I going to explain this on this month's expense report? Oh, boy. Okay. I think these guys, I think we've seen enough of the Live Wire's authentic representation of the first ever Thanksgiving. Yeah, we've seen enough.
Oh, how am I ever going to explain this to the finance people? Well, tune in for the next edition of Sports Talk when we'll preview this weekend's high school football games, and you can count the number of times that Keith Groller sucks up to Gary Laubach.
I've been doing this show for nearly a year, and this is the best moment I've ever had to be with the king. The king of local media right here is Gary Laubach, the best broadcaster in the business. I'm amazed that some big market hasn't snapped you up in all these years. Not to change the subject here, but I think the story is this man's alma mater, the Wilson Warriors.
I knew you'd turn this into a suck-up, but go ahead.
They got to come back to their field. What's the name of that field? Gary Laubach Field?
It's called Groller's Grumblings, where Keith sounds off and talks about anything and everything on his sports mind. Mr. Groller.
Well, it's funny you bring up Gary because I'm going to... Gary?
Would you remember? You haven't shined his shoes yet, too. Make sure you get on that during
the break.
Sorry about that. A little trouble keeping down my authentic Thanksgiving dinner. Sports Talk airs live Thursdays at 7 p.m. on RCN-TV or catch the show online. Until next time, I'm Chris Michael.